Oh, I think that was rough is so not
Come to the meeting there, Grady. What is your words of wisdom? You're waiting on the Tay-Tay to be. Okay, this is from an old AP Daily, and we haven't done any proper, like, fundamental theorem of calculus. They've gotten more creative in how they do these lately, but I wanted to show you some of these. And any of you that have, copious amounts of free time, which none of you do, AP Daily has started again. That's started in 2020 when COVID happened and shut everybody down. They do little videos each day live. I don't know why it has to be live, because people don't send in questions. But they have a little worksheet that goes with it, and they go through the problems, and they are excellent. The best ones are from 2020, and they take me over an hour to do their problem sets. And they're being locked down. I still have special access, but I don't think you guys can get at them. But the old ones are out there, 2020, 21, 22, 23, and now 24 has started. So if you have time and there is a weakness you feel you have, you can search the AP dailies and the topic and find them. But try these. See what you can. Tomorrow is our Q3 and 4.
Can we just guess that they just say zero, right? Yeah. I have no idea because it looks close to the
I mean, yeah, it looks like -2 to -2 is 0.
Yeah.
Look at where they're saying rise.
3.
So it's this. Well, you're integrating -2 to whatever point.
Right. So that's
For the
Whatever goes negative.
So just what would give you the lowest?
so it's just after that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I also feel that between 5 and 8, there's
Well, no, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
We just don't have any of this. Oh, but you can calculate the slope of between 5, -2, and 8. So you can calculate that. It's that.
I'm assuming it's two.
What are you saying is start?
That negative
Meaning how do we start the problem? It's asking for relative minimums, so how do we find minimums? How do I do the derivative of this? Okay,
Oh, yeah, but that's, so,
on these problems, you absolutely must put the connection down between F and G, or H, or whatever the things are. They gave you the equation of G as the integral. They gave you a graph of F. You need to connect them somehow. You can't make conclusions of G by looking at the graph of F until you say how they're connected. You need to say G prime equals F. And if this was a x squared, this would be F of x squared times derivative of x squared, G multiplied. Okay. Where does G have relative minimums? Now that we have the derivative, what do I look at?
where the derivative equals 0.
Okay, where the derivative
F of x
equals,
0.
so where is F of x 0? Okay, so those are possibilities. Where are relative maximums, minimums, I'm looking for minimums. When the first derivative goes from negative to positive, so, Gabe, where does it look like that happens?
At 6.
It's like 6, it's hard to see the tick marks, but why is this one not a minimum? The sign of the first derivative doesn't change. Okay. Roxana, how do I find all open intervals where G is both decreasing and concave up? First, where is G decreasing?
When F is changing, or when F is negative.
Decreasing, you said when F of x is negative?
Yeah.
All right, so that looks like -2 to 6. Okay. Sophie, how do I find where it's concave up?
Where the slope of the graph of F is negative.
Okay, so reading the derivative of the derivative,
-8 to 0. Like, the negative points are like wonky, but maybe 3 to 5, and then 8 to 0.
so she says everywhere that the.
Concave up, sorry, I read it wrong. The concave.
Concave up, I think I said down, so. So you're
Sorry.
good. That's my fault.
Okay, so the reverse of that, so like 0 to 5. Or 0 to, I really can't read it.
So where the slope is positive. So slope is positive in those places. So where does that overlap with places that Roxy pointed out? Where is it?
0 to 4, 5 to 6.
Those 0 to 4, 5 to 6 round brackets. And the reasoning they had said. So it's decreasing when f of x is less than 0. And it's concave up when the slope of f is positive. So where do they both happen? The intervals you guys set.
Could you explain again how, the interval of the first chunk starts at -2?
Okay, where is G decreasing? G is decreasing when it has a negative slope, right? F is G's slope. So where is F? Negative.
Yeah, but if you're not given the point, like how would you find that it was exactly at -2?
There is a grid on here that's hard to see.
Oh.
And they're giving us coordinates, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's bad photocopying, I guess,
Oh, I
but
see.
it's there.
Thanks.
It'll be better when you have your own paper. Fiona, how do I do G of -5?
That would be like, you have to use the integral. So you have to do like, put in like -2 to 5,
To -5.
or to -5, sorry. Which would be the area.
Which would be the area under the curve from
-2.
-2, -3, -4, -5.
So you would do, sorry, so you would do like 5 times the, how do you know how many meters to go up?
Well, it looks like
Oh, okay, so you go up 1 unit, so it'd be 5 times 1. So then, and then divide by 2, so it's like 5 halves.
is it 3 halves? And is it positive or negative? Negative. Why is it negative? We're integrating backwards, so dx was negative, but dy was positive.
Or, well, then for B, would it also be from like -8 to -2?
For B.
Because it would be like reflected, I guess, if it's going backwards.
Okay. No, because B, when I do the derivative, I've gotten rid of where my starting point is. Like the derivative is just f prime. What is f prime at any given point is what it is.
For part A, why don't you consider -8 as a relative minimum as it increases faster?
I was gonna say, because they didn't ask us to include the endpoints, but I don't see that they threw them out. I don't know. Because the endpoint would be, that one would be a min and the right hand one would be a max. So I don't know. Yeah.
Would the left endpoint be a min? Because it would still be decreasing the whole time. That's it.
This is the derivative is +2. So the slope is +2. It's going up until here. Like right there, hits a max and then comes down. So you're right, x equals -8 is also a relative min. How do I find g prime of -5? Yeah, great.
Get the slope at -5.
Okay, the slope at -5, how do I find the slope at -5? It is f of -5, which is 1. And what's g double prime of -5? Slope, which is -1/3. So they do expect you to be able to count the boxes on there and find the slope.
So when you're doing G prime of -5, do you not have to do f of -5 minus -2, or do you just do that?
Okay, I erased it already. No, so the very first thing we said was the derivative of g is f of x. Is it anchored down anywhere anymore? Now that constant, that anchoring down is gone. So the slope of g at any point is whatever f's value was. So no, you don't need to do that. Okay, so we got all the answers that we had said. What's the absolute maximum?
Well, maybe these areas.
Did it say where is it or what is it? Find the absolute maximum value. So if we want the y value, I agree that I believe it would happen in 12. What's the work you would have to show for AP and their little do what? So we've, okay. Whatever they're asking you for. And I recommend, no matter what, put your endpoints. Putting critical points on it's good. I'm not gonna put this one because I know it's not relevant. This one's a minimum, it asks for a maximum, so I'm not actually gonna calculate that one. But from -2, integrating at -2, that's 0. Actually, at -8, is that a max or like, what is that number?
-6.
-6, yeah. And then at 6, we're subtracting more stuff, right? So the area of those two triangles, negative. And then at the big triangle on. So the safe way to do it is a table and checking all the stuff. The way they wrote this is confusing. From all that data, the maximum is 1. So fundamental theorem of calculus should be on the test somewhere, where they give you a graph and they ask you stuff about it. And this is, like I said, one of the AP dailies. They don't let it die. There's part E, F, G, and H. Yeah. This is part of the reason that it takes me over an hour to do their AP dailies. When I was going on question 2, part P, I got a little tired. But try these guys.
Yep. Yes.
I'm not making it down this thing.
Imagine they take points off.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I know nothing. Yes. Are you not going out? I'm sure you're the actually. Oh, I don't. I do put it at half the time last week. I just think that I think it was good. I'm like a lot down. That's not okay. I'm not stressed. And you can just use it. I'm kind of stuck. It's like a team.
But how else would you do it?
Oh, wait. No. We can just use some. You don't have to finish this. What's the?
Oh, it's just
Yeah, with the new round. Because it's in terms of
Oh, okay. I didn't do it. I don't know when Oh, I think the half is there.
Yeah, the one half comes. The one half.
You know-
You got rid of that.
The X is included in the
Okay, what do you equal?
When X is 3, Y is.
And then 6 is the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 to 5 bucks.
Plug at you.
We take this.
And then the big area got named.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna go minus 1.
Over 2x.
Yeah.
What's the derivative of HF?
Wait, this is last year.
It's up there.
We have the integral of 1/2 of the integral of
Then you
3 to
multiply
12.
that by which one's a half.
Do you agree or no?
Okay, what do we use from there?
Questions on E?
What do we do from there? What do you mean? You don't need the left hand for y-axis.
How do we start F?
Oh, that's
Oh,
I see one.
Yeah, I know.
Because we cannot see the line.
Well, let's see.
I did.
1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? It's half of 4 times 6. And this is 1, 2, 3, and it's down 1, 2.
You don't have to square it up. You're making like a way outside.
This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this the area. Oh, the area is 3. You can add it or subtract it however you need. So I don't know if you're going from the
No, like you're all of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and oh, it's a fraction. What is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 15 halves? 5 times 3?
One over distance times integral.
Yeah.
Yes. You get it.
He asked for what are the areas of the triangle. So I just counted boxes.
I'm still like back.
Yeah. We make it right triangles.
We can still do all of the right triangles. Find the areas.
Okay. In
It doesn't
Right, okay, efficiency, the whole triangle, they don't need to be right triangles, don't do that, oh my goodness. Ouch. I was told here, which I assume meant U substitution. Massimo, what's the U value?
X squared plus 3.
So how do I do the U substitution?
You do the derivative, so du equals 2x dx. And then 5 plus x.
Okay, so swapping out this stuff for that stuff. Well, I guess.
The integral from, or 1/2 the integral from 3 to 12 is that.
Where did he get 3 and 12? There's 0 and 3 on there. Ready?
He added 3. Teaching.
So when x was 0, I need to change my basically mile markers to kilometer markers. So when x is 0, u is 3, and when x is 3, 3 squared plus 3, it's 12. And so don't forget that. And it was all just, um, 9/2? Yeah. And the last one you couldn't see, I think it was cut off. Find the average value. Average value. Do you guys remember what you did, Marco, with that?
So it's 1/b minus a times, or 1/12 plus a times b. Yeah, times the integral from -12.
Okay, average value versus average. So find the area of all this stuff and divide it by the number of stuffs. Arc length. Arc length of that?
I don't know. This one, a fraction. Yeah. It's a decimal.
It's
It's
I can't simplify.
That's interesting. It asks you to find the arc length of G. Yeah, huh? So,
Oh my god. It's okay, that's what
those tiny little things, that's,
I was thinking about that.
You don't have our own thing, we have to eat.
It's tested out.
yeah.
Would they be marked wrong if they put 7.5/20 instead of 3/8?
Yeah.
So it's just a waste of time to simplify.
It's we
And it's just opening yourself up for mistakes, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so in the land of like opening yourself up to mistakes, don't rationalize, who cares?
Yeah, you need to rationalize too. Yeah, because like. you don't wanna
It's
think
fine
rational
if
on the
you do
bottom.
and you do it right. And this
And I
might,
did it right.
if this was a multiple choice question, they probably would have rationalized and had that as the option. So you do still need to be able to take your correct answer and make it look like theirs. So they will not leave things like 7.5/8 or whatever it was you said. So you need to have this skill to change that. On free response, you can leave it a bloody mess as long as it's arithmetic. You cannot stop, well, in general, you're not allowed to stop it having it as f of x. This said, leave the expression, don't evaluate it. But if it was numbers and if you had in your stuff f of 2 plus 3, that's my answer. No, you need to go through and evaluate what f of 2 is.
I think you said this recently, but you can leave it like 4.5 and not 3 decimal places if it's just like 9 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
What other things?
So for H, you have 2 options, or you have to like write.
I think there are 2 options for that part H. Because you say, like,
You can write
at the very, very beginning, I said our first step, we had to say G prime equals f of x, so either one would be accepted. Yeah, so they're trying to get at every single topic in one question. Use a series, gross. Find k of 8. No. Just plug it in. Okay. So plugging in 8 for x. You guys had a question like this on one of your tests in here, and you were completely like, what? Okay. Plug it in. The x value is 8. What is f of 8? F of 8? Oh, they told me. 4. Okay. So now this is just, what is this now? This becomes k of 8 is this sigma thing from n equals 0 to infinity, 4/6, which is, what is that series? Geometric. What is the first term? 10, not 0. Putting in 0 for n, that becomes 1, but the 10 is still there. That's my first term. What am I multiplying by each time? And if it's free response, say something like, because the absolute value of that is less than 1, I get an infinite geometric sum of first term over 1 minus 2/3. And Preston, if it makes your day, you can stop there. But 10 divided by 1/3 is 10 times 3. So 1/3. Yay. I forgot about these AP questions or the AP dailies. So they didn't have you do L'Hopital's rule, but they got series in here. They got arc length. Yeah. So they try to get to a lot of topics in one question. Yeah.
Have we ever had one with like 9 parts on it?
No. So that's the thing. The AP daily questions, especially these made by Brian Passwater and Tony Record, and the answer key done by Ted Gott. Like I said, I was on part P of the second question, and as it was hitting an hour, I'm like, I'm done.
On the exam, like, since we're not gonna have others, we're only gonna have 4, like, which 4 of those questions, you have to get started off easier and it got a lot harder, so like, which 4 would you say are the
Okay.
most?
So what they're gonna ask you is, like, you have several examples in the binders that I gave you guys. There's usually a part A, B, and C. Sometimes there's a part D. In an example that we did in class though, there was a real question that had, oh goodness, part D had 3 parts to it. They will, fundamental theorem of calculus, they'll often ask, where is the absolute max or min? Tell me where this is concave up or concave down. So can you read the second derivative of a function off of its first derivative? Do you know how to tie them together? Do you know how to do areas of triangles? Do you know how to, like, sometimes they'll do pieces of things. These are just straight lines, but this one here's the equation of the curve. So you'll have to be able to integrate by finding the area of this triangle, and then integrate by actually raise the power, divide by new power. Check the book of samples that you guys have, sort and sift. Anyway,